On Sunday, Peyton Manning accomplished 3 significant milestones, cementing his title as the greatest regular season quarterback. But one of those milestones in particular, pretty outstanding, 500 touchdown passes, joining Brett Favre as the only NFL quarterbacks ever to accomplish that feat. So let's compare, shall we? Look at these other great feats, accomplishments, so to speak. Wayne Gretzky, Gordie Howe, more than 800 goals, 35,000 points or more by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Karl Malone, 700 or more home runs. Bonds, Aaron, Ruth, rare accomplishments for these legends. So we are comparing. Skip Bayless, I'll give this one to you. What do you believe, and you saw that list, which one is most impressive?
Stephen A., I've thought so hard about this, my head is hurting, seriously, because this is a tough one.
It's easy for me.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Okay, then I'm fat. Do you want to go first?
Yeah.
Want me to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I look at all of these things, Skip Bayless. Favre and, his durability, Manning and his greatness, Gretzky and Howe. I mean, I'm not a hockey buff, but, who doesn't know the great Gretzky? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the all-time leading scorer, that sky hook, the most unstoppable move in basketball history. I get all of that. I totally understand it. Bonds, Babe Ruth, etc. But when I think about the great Muhammad Ali, there is only one other person whose name comes to my mind in comparison to him, and that is the great Hank Aaron. What he had to go through en route to surpassing Babe Ruth as the all-time home run king.
Okay, so you're going to take it a little off the field as well as on.
I don't view it as off the field.
Yeah.
Here's why. Because if we're going to pay attention to things on the periphery and how it can serve as a detriment to your productivity, think about what Hank Aaron went through. Think about the time in our history as a nation that he was going through it, okay? And think about what he did anyway. To me, he will forever be the king. I love me some Barry Bonds. I will never deviate from that, no matter what anybody says about him. But Hank Aaron, special. And that stands out in my mind above all else.
Okay. I hear everything you just said. And by the way, to me, I'm standing by this. PED cloud or not, Barry Bonds, greatest baseball player ever. Barry Bonds. Standing by that.
It's special to watch. I miss him.
Okay, now let's look quickly at these other feats in other sports. We both love the NBA. So you have Kareem and Karl Malone going over 35,000 points. They both played so long that I can't get all that excited because it's a durability and it's a longevity record as much as they're obviously great. In fact, I'm more impressed with Karl's 37,000 than Kareem's, say, he's about to 39,000.
Are you?
Because Karl was how many inches shorter? 5 inches shorter?
Well, I'm just thinking about the assist that came from John Stockton
running the break, lots of dunks on the break. Okay, all right,
break
that's fine.
and the pick and
But
roll,
he still scored
elbow jump shot. But I give him credit. But
Kareem was so gifted and so tall and long.
Well, a sky hook is
it's just unstoppable.
It's unstoppable.
Okay, now Peyton and Gretzky are the same to me. They played a game with which no one else in their sport was familiar. Peyton is so quick with the ball. He's so quick with his decision-making. He doesn't have, obviously, the greatest arm, and he's still picking defenses to pieces because he's operating cerebrally on another level from football. It's like he created his own game of football just the way Gretzky created his own game of hockey. And I'm not the biggest hockey fan, though I've covered more than you have. Wayne Gretzky was so quick, so fast on skates, and so skilled that he wasn't just the great Gretzky, he was like in another world from everyone who ever played hockey.
I covered 3 hockey games in my career, and it was all after Gretzky retired.
Okay, just remember. Okay, think about this. Gordie Howe is second in goals, and he played 280 more games than Gretzky. And Gretzky has 93 more goals than Gordie Howe.
Wow.
So it's ridiculous. And then Gretzky is first in assists all time. And it's not even close. It's like he's got 714 more assists than the second place guy. This is absurd.
All you need to know is that Gretzky was so great that we're talking about his daughter in the news half the time.
Okay.
In
All right,
today's
that's
world,
fine.
because of him.
Okay, now
true.
back to where you started.
Right.
The home run record. I have to throw this out, and you know me, I appreciate everything you said about the civil rights issues that Hank Aaron fought. The blatant racism at a time that it was just so
vicious,
appalling and
vicious,
and unchecked. It was unchecked. And he got the brunt of it as a man who was going after the hallowed 714 home run record of one Babe Ruth. Okay, the harder I looked at this, let's take the race out of it for just a second. What Babe Ruth did in the dead ball era, remember, they're throwing some mush ball, that's hard to hit out of the ballpark.
Right.
Okay, Hank Aaron, in just plate appearances, played the equivalent of 5 more seasons than Babe Ruth played. Think about that. 5 more seasons.
Hank Aaron played 5 more seasons
than Babe Ruth did.
Babe Ruth did.
Yeah, and he finally broke his record with 755 to 714. But Babe Ruth's 714 in 5 fewer seasons, it's incomprehensible to me in the dead ball era. You got to give it up to Babe Ruth. He shattered every record in a game that he dominated the way no player has ever dominated any sport to me.
I know you didn't mean it. You understand? You're not thinking about this, so I'm not being critical of your position by any stretch of the imagination. But what I would ask you to do is please respect where I'm coming from. Babe Ruth played from 1914 to 1935. Babe Ruth did not play against black players.
Okay, I get it.
And I'm not trying to bring up race or anything like that. I'm simply saying, Babe Ruth.
That's valid. That is valid.
Babe Ruth. I'm going to say something that's very unpopular, but I've said it on my radio show on many occasions. I'm going to say it again, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio, 1 to 3 Eastern Time every day. Let me be very clear. Babe Ruth is the most glorified runner-up in the history of sports. When Hank Aaron broke Major League Baseball's all-time home run record, all right, do you understand that people still walked around talking about Babe Ruth like he was the home run king?
Okay, but that's
I'm just saying to you.
That's just racism.
But what I'm saying to you is this. You barely even knew who the king was because everybody was talking about number 2. And I'm telling you right now, and a number 2 who did not compete against black players, oh, that man ain't getting my vote. Oh, no, 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 no. And then when you say...
Hey, do you understand live ball versus dead ball?
I do understand.
Okay, you should give him some respect for that.
I never said I'm not giving him respect. What I said is I ain't giving them the crown. There's a difference. I know you're great. I know you're phenomenal. I get all of that. But at the same time, there's a level of competition you never, ever faced. And I look at Hank Aaron. Not only did you face everybody, but every mechanism available to anyone short of the devil himself was thrown against this man.
Okay, I get that. And I respect that. We talk about it all the time. I'm just trying to do the pure baseball here. But Hank Aaron, in plate appearances, had 3,319 more plate appearances than Babe Ruth.
Let me challenge you on this. If we were talking about golf, you would take those things into consideration because golf is such a mental game that your approach to the game matters just as much as what you do on the course. You see what I'm saying? I'm telling you that in the sport of baseball, got the ball is coming at you 90, 95 miles an hour in a different time. You got all of this stuff.
But remember.
Hold on, wait. You know this better than me because you covered it. There were times when Hank Aaron went into the dugout and he hid letters and others hid letters.
I get it. I know. But remember, he wasn't Jackie Robinson. He played in an era when there were many, many black stars.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Nobody,
so he wasn't alone as a black star.
Nobody was Jackie Robinson. But here's where it elevates to another level. Nobody was being called upon to eclipse Babe Ruth. It's one thing for America to have its national pastime. It's another thing for Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth, in some people's eyes, was America's national pastime. So this was a direct affront to him and everything that America's national pastime represented, just as much as integration in some people's eyes. Hank Aaron and what he had to go through with Jackie Robinson, it wasn't just a community, it was a nation of people that was like integration. But in the case of Hank Aaron, oh, no, we don't want you to eclipse this record.
So that's
we
why
want to
that
stop
feat
you.
is so much more.
Okay, so is it fair for you? Is it fair for you,
right,
to despise everything Babe Ruth stands for just because of Hank Aaron?
First of all, I do not despise anything that Babe Ruth stood for because it's not him. It's not his fault. All I'm saying is let's stop shy of crowning him when there is somebody else who deserves to be crowned even more, not just because he eclipsed Babe Ruth's record, but because he had to go to it. Babe Ruth had nothing but support from America.
Okay, well, me personally, crowning, I'm crowning Barry Bonds. I'm fine with Barry Bonds.
I'm cool with
as being the all-time home run king.
Well, for me, I'm cool with that too. But Hank Aaron's a king for a multitude of reasons.
Okay.
Wow. Good discussion, fellas. But wrap it up as producers are yelling in my ear. Russell Wilson.
Well, sometimes you're